What's up? What's up? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday morning here in the great inspiration of impromptu. And we have a winner. We have a winner this week. We have a brand new winner. It should be exciting. Impromptu is a page that has writing prompts. So the goal of the page is for you to write to whatever you want to write to the writing prompt. And there are great poets that will go over all the entries for the week and they will pick a winner. So this week, this week we have our winner coming up, and you will be excited just like me. Let me tell you what we do here. We write whatever, write anything, write everything, write nothing, write. We write right and we write wrong and we write, So yeah, but for real, this is the most exciting thing you can do in a week's time. Just sit down, go to the page, follow impromptu, see what prompt is there. Write to all the prompts, and you never know what will come out. So the object is just to make your pen move. Make your pen move, and you write to it and see what comes out. I think you'd be amazed, because we are always amazed at everything that people share. So, man, it is awesome. It is awesome for everybody to come through. So join us. Give me a second. I'm trying to send the airplane to my man so he can show up. It's Ty Black out of ATL. Oh, that's Ty Black. I was finna send my airplane. Ty Black is here. So let's bring Ty Black in. Let's do this right. We're gonna do this right. See what's up. Shed some light on the subject. Just invited the winner in. Okay. I'm trying to plug this light in so we can have some. So it won't be so dark. Won't be so dark in here. I invited Ty Black. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not letting him come through. Let me try this one more time. Ty, it's not letting me bring you in. So check it out, Ty. Okay, there. Let's try it this way. Instagram has been full of folly. It said Ty Black is unable to join. Ty Black, I need you to log out and log back in. It says you're unable to join. So Instagram has been full of folly. So we're gonna make it work. So no Paul, open book, can't join. So let me bring one of the people in. Had to jump off. Okay. Okay. Now check it out. Ty Black said he can't join as of yet. So I asked him to log out and log back in. So how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, AJ. Just glad to be here and writing. And I realized I could include some poems in my journal that I've been working on in the manuscript.
So you're cheating.
Well, I mean, they need to be printed. So, it's family and other problems. I'm picking my problems out of that journal.
Okay, we're going to discuss those issues in a minute. Those are issues we got to talk about. Ty Black, what up, man? What up? Man, it said you couldn't join. It was trying to...
Hello. It was the winding circle of death, sir.
I saw that.
You froze for a moment, then it just started spinning. I was like, oh. Okay, so let me go ahead and rewind. But good morning, good afternoon, everyone. For those who are on the East Coast, my name is Ty Black from the ATL. How are you doing? And once again, I appreciate everybody.
This is a great Nopal.
Yes,
Nopal underscore flower.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And since this is your interview, I'm going to go. So, AJ, thanks for bringing me up for a quick second. But congratulations again, Ty.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
But Ty, I brought in because I wanted everybody to know that that this is what this is and what it's for. Because impromptu is the page where we just have writing prompts, and a lot of people go and you might see one might touch you, and that's when you write to. But we're trying to get everybody to write to each one of them, because I'm saying it's amazing when you start writing prompts. You say, I have no idea where this poem is going.
It's a winding road.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think of the page?
Well, as far as the page is concerned, I mean, it's great. I mean, the prompts are great, especially when you touch bases on a weekly basis, and the challenges that you give to other poets. I mean, it's spectacular. You really don't, you really don't find that all too much. You find a whole bunch of open mics, a whole bunch of workshops on IG, but you really don't find too many people actually prompting people to actually challenge them to be more creative.
Okay, so what is your writing process?
I am not, and I'm gonna put the disclaimer out here. I am not a structured poet.
We don't do disclaimers, but okay, continue.
I am not a structured poet. I've been writing poetry since I can remember. Since I was about 12 years old, I've been writing poetry, and yeah, I mean, mostly it's what goes. I know rhyme schemes and stuff like that, punchlines, transitions, and all that good. But usually, when I write poetry, it's just coming straight from the heart.
Okay. But Coach Ja said he's just Coach Ja. He's not talking about nothing. But that's Coach Ja. He gonna have those right. He gonna have those on here all day. But the reason I'm asking your process, because everybody has a process, even if you force yourself not to have a process.
Okay.
Because
right.
there's something that you do each time. Something that you do when you start. You say, okay, this is a thought. This is a picture I see. This is the title. Oh, this is what I want it to be about. You're going to write that down. You're going to put that in the corner of your mind and say, okay, now, how would it start? You have all these opening lines. And you can have, if you have 12 opening lines on the page, all of them can be opening lines. They're going to fit in the poem somewhere, but all of them can be opening lines. So I'm saying there's a process in there.
Oh, indeed it is. And that's a process I don't follow.
No, I'm just saying your process, whatever it is, okay. If you just sit down and write and just write. Or you sit down and write, leave it to tomorrow and, finish it up.
Oh, no. Usually when I write, like most poets I know, usually it takes about 15, 20 minutes for me to write a complete piece. But the first things first is actually getting a thought in mind. Where do I want this poem to go? What thought process do I want to go? And sometimes, I mean, recently when I've been writing, it's been more about abstract, going beyond or going outside the box, you may say, just to just to pique somebody's attention, to be like, what is this dude saying?
And I like that. Let me get my pen and paper, because I need you to find a poem you want to read. I need to hear something.
Okay, just give me one moment.
Yeah, my pen was on the other side here.
Let's see. See if I could grab one. So what have you been writing recently for National Poetry Month while I'm looking for this?
You said, what have I been writing?
What have you been writing recently for National Poetry Month?
Well, actually, see, my thing is I write every day. I do 365. Ooh. And I've done that for some years now. And it's an agreement I made with myself while I was working on the book with 365 original quotes. Because I hadn't seen a book of quotes by an individual. So I always tell the youth I work with, if you are looking for something and you haven't found it, it has now become your job to create it. So I follow my process. I follow my words, because you don't know who's watching you and when they're looking. So you have to be about your business and be about what you say, because at that moment you decide not to keep your word to you. People may see you not keeping your word to you and believe you don't keep your word to anybody. So I write every day. I guess the piece I wrote yesterday was on the other computer. It was Grave Robbers. I wrote a poem called Grave Robbers yesterday. Mm. And it's just talking about how America keeps killing us. But they're killing us in numbers. Maybe they are digging up old bodies that they killed years ago and replacing them with the new ones. Hmm. And maybe there's a lot of shallow graves around, and they're trying to replace those. And I'm saying it's just, I woke up with the idea. Every morning I wake up with something on my tongue, and it's what I write.
That's what's up. I got challenged by Gemini Fox Poet.
Okay.
And she challenged me this week, well, actually last week, to write a piece about in rendition to Shakespeare's sonnet number 62 about self-love being a sin. So that's my current challenge for the day after I get off work.
Number 62. Okay. But that's interesting because I had comedian Stefan asked me to write because he was trying to discover. When I write something serious, I do all the research on it. He wanted me to write a poem about baptism. When did it start? When did they start baptizing babies? How does it work? Who decided this was going to be this and which denomination did whatever. So now I'm doing my research. So when I finish the research, I'm going to write the poem. But it's so far it's interesting because I love to find the origin of things and tell people that everything you thought was true wasn't. You thought truth was tradition, and tradition has more value than truth these days.
Right.
Okay, so what you gonna read for us, man?
Let's see. This piece was written March the 10th. Okay. It's called Pieces of Me. When I see me, I see each and every piece of me staring back at me, telling me that the fear that resides in me is misdirected. That instead of worrying about what ifs and what could be's, I should be concentrating on the steps ahead. That every piece of me contains a story stitched together with a common denominator that is all too familiar. Sure, I fell. Who hasn't? Probably the reason why I'm hard-headed. Trained from childhood to take a beat and get back up and keep moving. Every bump and bruise captures a memory tied to every break and fracture that I had to go through, only to be collected and reassembled into a mosaic work in progress. And that's that piece.
Mosaic work in progress. And I like the way you brought the pieces back to them being a full picture. Because you can see all the pieces. And I like just anybody talking about the pieces of them, because I always tell people that you're all the yous you've ever been. So everything you thought you need to write is right there. Whichever age you wanted to write about, whatever problems you had, is right there. So how do you find the glory in yourself to pin it where somebody's going through what you are going through, can see what it is? But you said, I see each piece of me. And then what was the last line? The mosaic, what was the last line?
Only to be collected and reassembled into a mosaic work in progress.
And that's what time builds you better. That's all I'm saying. Time builds you better because I see all these pieces and I'm watching these pieces and they're broken, but time built me better. So, and only you can build you better.
Right. The actual the inspiration of this piece was the Japanese theory of a broken vase. Mm-hmm. Usually when for those that don't know, if you were to break a vase, you just don't throw it away because it's still art. But what you do, you line it with gold to make it more valuable. So they use melted gold to line those faults. So with every piece of you, reassembled and together makes you a stronger you, makes you a more valuable you. You just don't stay there and just be broken, fractured. You don't stay in that, you don't stay in that lane. You go faster. You grow stronger, And that's what gets me into a lot of my poetry is just the fact of being in a place where you're not supposed to be, but getting out of it stronger.
Yeah,
Being that warrior, being that soldier.
And that's you being able to build you better, because you're stronger from the trial, but you're stronger if you get all the pieces of the trial and you're able to build it and show somebody that's what the trial looked like when it started.
Right.
This is my solution to it. You know, because I tell people now, they say, man, ooh, what problems are you trying to solve? I say, no, I just got a pocket full of solutions. I'm trying to match them up.
That is a great response. That is a great response. But yeah, that was pieces of me.
Yeah. So do you have any product?
No, not at this time. I do not have merch. I actually spoke to your representative last night, and she got my YouTube channel. I'm still working on it.
What is your YouTube?
It goes by my full name, Tyrone Blackwell, instead of Ty Black. But I'm still setting that up. Once I get everything set up, it will be on my IG account.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so are you working on anything? Do you EP a book? You have thoughts of building a book, or you have?
I have by the end of this year, hopefully, I will be on the way of publishing my first book. I'm again, for new authors, it's a testy area because you're worried about what people might think about what you say, and that's where I am right now. So right now I'm just writing, and hopefully by this summer I'll start collecting and start organizing my work and start hopefully have it published out probably by the end of the year.
Okay, and this being March, this being April, 4th month of the year. So, okay, we're gonna revisit this conversation later in the conversation, because my whole thing is I really believe in a writer having product, because I think everything you write is a dream that you built into one piece. So why not have all your dreams in your dream? Just bind it up so other people can see it. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to come back to that. So what is the hardest piece that you've written in the last, this month, since it's Natural Poetry Month, everybody's writing a poem a day. What's the hardest piece you've written this month?
There's really not a difficult piece. It's really not a difficult piece because I try to think about it thoroughly. I think when it comes to political pieces, those are the main issues, because you don't want to, for me, I don't want to get it wrong. Just like you do, I go ahead and research the information. So that's the hardest part for me, is actually getting the research and actually trying to mesh it together poetically the way I see it.
Do you have one you can read?
No, I do not. No, I do not. Again, those are works in progress, but political pieces, and also erotic pieces. Erotic pieces are kind of hard for me because it's just the fact.
Usually, I don't write erotic pieces, but my buddy Mr. Witz had a erotic open mic Friday. He gave me a 3-day warning. He said, "Man, you got to come through. I'm expecting you to come through and read an erotic poem." I'm like, okay. And, it was a challenge. So I wrote a poem just for that open mic. And I love the poem because I believe that if I'm going to write something, it has to be the best right I could write at this particular juncture.
Right.
I won't just throw some words together and say, okay, I just wrote this poem. No, because every poem I write is better than the last poem I wrote. Gotta be. Why would I write it if it wasn't?
That's facts.
So I'm still trying to get you to read something from April, from your 13th, from your 13 writes that you've had this month.
Let's see what I got. It's kind of hard, putting me on the spot here. I love a challenge.
Man, you on the spot before you accept. You knew you was gonna be on the spot when you say, "Okay, let me log into this impromptu."
True, indeed. Let me go ahead.
Wait. Let me. Who's that? The hard drive said erotic poems are hard. Uh, they require a lot of insight and depth into the human psyche. And me, I don't write like. It's not that I don't write. I just have abnormal pens. I write like everybody else. I just have abnormal pens, So my pens tell me different shit to put on the paper. They're drinking milk. My pen's drinking milk and shit.
Pen's drinking milk. Do cookies come along with that? Because I'm diabetic. I would love to know.
Well, I don't know. I just want to get big and strong first. We'll throw the sweets in later.
Oh, I get that. Okay. All right. This one I wrote April the 5th.
Okay.
And it's called Challenge. Actually, this is one of your prompts. This is one of your prompts, I think, for April 5th. It was on the calendar. I've seen my share of adversities, moments in history where life got the better of me. At this time, I thought I could do nothing but permit the blows to keep coming and suffer silently in agony. Years of misery went by before the thought came to me that these problems that I thought were intended to stop me were only steps to encourage me to keep climbing. That with every step upward, the challenges were going to get harder, and there's no chance in hell that they were ever going to let up. Luckily, I've come prepared. For every day, I start off with a prayer to make me the conqueror of the day. That with these hands, I make and mold the world around me into the manifestation of my own creation. That my father watching over me can be proud of me, and that my mother still living has a reason to smile. That my wife standing by me can depend on me, and my son knowing undeniably that Pop's got his back. So when I look at that mountain, this massive obstruction standing in my way, I've learned that the journey will only begin once I decided to take the first step. And that's that piece.
And there's a lot of things in that piece too. And first, Coach Josh said his pen's are bipolar. But anyway, but there's a lot in that piece because when you describe everything, you've put your family information out here because you say your father's watching over you and your mother's still here. So that tells people you. And then you said, suffer silently in agony. And what is the prayer line? You said, what was the prayer line again after Father passed?
Oh, for every day I start off with a prayer to make me the conqueror of the day.
Okay, the next line, what's that?
That with these hands I make and mold the world around me into a manifestation of my own creation.
Okay, so I like that because you say every day I started with the prayer and you gave the full essence of the prayer. So nobody had to wonder, okay, what prayer you start off with. And I'm saying it's a complete circle because it told completely about you and how you, the adversities and how you suffered agony, but your prayer is that this works and your mother's still watching over you and your father's watching over you. So now I think that's a full circle poem because I like it when you shouldn't have questions after you hear a poem. If you had any questions, you got to think of all the answers you heard before you ask the question that you already, he's already given you.
Right.
And the challenge was, the challenge was you finding a way to be you through all the things you're going through and through the suffrage and just being whole. And you pray about being whole every day and that's your power. Your superpower is that I pray this prayer and this helps me through.
Right. A bit of transparency here. So recently I've had my bouts with surgeries for the past 4 years. I've had a complete number of 8 major. And I just recently had one in March. So basically, it's coming from me as far as feeling like you're nothing, feeling from the bottom, like dealing with those challenges and actually knowing that, hey, I'm going to get through this. So I'm trying to poetically speak positivity into these situations where people feel like they're nothing. The self-loathing, the self-hate, the lack of self-confidence, the lack of self-esteem. Um, I try to bring that out because it's in me. So basically, poetry to me is my therapy. You
Yeah,
know,
and that's what I get from the line. Say, you would no longer suffer silently in agony, and it was like, I've done this. How do I tell people that it's worth it? That you can make it
correct.
through it. See, that's what that line tells me. That there's a lot of things that you've gone through. There's a lot of things that you didn't discuss with anybody else because you was trying to discuss them with yourself first. But then after you prayed your prayer and you gave them the line, you found the strength to pin these to pin these gems so other people could find themselves in what you've written.
Right.
Okay, no, but I got it. I just didn't know what it was. No, man, but I like the piece because the title is perfect. It's challenge, and the challenge is not a challenge to anybody. The challenge is to yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah. I'm saying I listen. I listen kind of good every now and
Every now and again. Every now and
then.
again, I gotta clear out the wax out my ears, but I got you. I got
Exactly.
you.
You got to put some of that hot. What is that? I'm trying. My mother used to heat up olive oil. Heat up a couple of drops of olive oil and put them in my ear, and you leave it like this, and then you lean it down and you clean all the wax out.
Whoa, never tried that, but I will though. I will
Yeah,
though,
but
because
I'm
they got
saying,
me in a hyperbaric chamber. So yeah, I
yeah,
definitely gotta clean out my ears on a regular basis.
because my mother, and my grandmother, they had all these remedies. I'm trying to remember now. We don't remember the things that they did for us that made us over these little small challenges. That these days you got to go to a doctor and they want to give you an injection or a bottle of pills. Take one per day. Call me in the morning.
Right.
Okay, and back to you. So if you did write a book, what would be the title of the book?
Unbroken, and that's the first. That's the first thought that comes to mind
Okay, and why?
because for um for a long time I was broken. Um, a lot of people really, as men, we are told not to say such words. Shattered, fractured, broken, soft. Um, where we're not, where we're told not to do that because it weakens the image of those around us about how they feel about us. But broken speaks, well, unbroken, excuse me, unbroken speaks to the fact of self-confidence, of regaining that self-confidence. I was once in that position, but I know now I am not. I am a lot stronger than what people think I am.
Yeah, and Unbroken says that maybe I hadn't fixed myself whole, but I got all the pieces.
Right.
I got all the pieces. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. They ain't fixed myself. No, but I like that. I like this. So check this out. Do me a favor. Write Unbroken on a piece of paper, and then write introduction under that. So when you get around to it, my challenge to you is to write an introduction to what we just talked about Unbroken. So what Unbroken would be, write an introduction to your book before you even think about writing a book. So this is my challenge to you. You have the title, write the introduction. Then we're going to talk later because I tell you, we had a conversation earlier we're going to come back to, but we ain't got to go back to it right
now. Okay. But yeah, most definitely. I got you. And I got you on IG. I think I got your email too. So I'll go ahead and drop that to you.
Okay. And so what other writing prompts did you write to an impromptu? Oh, and no problem. So a vase could be laced with gold, put back together, laced with gold.
And cover could be a vase with gold. Yes. It could be.
So your book gonna be finished before you even leave this line.
Exactly. But and I appreciate that, Nepal. I appreciate that. But let's see. What were we speaking about before? I'm sorry, my fault.
I said, what other writing prompts did you write to on impromptu?
When
did you start following impromptu?
I started following impromptu probably late. After my first surgery, after my surgery in November, I started following impromptu. That's where I met For Open Book,
mm-hmm.
and of course I met you. And ever since then, either you're tagging me or I get the notification that you sent out a post, and I'll go ahead and respond. And sometimes it's not a concentrated writing. Sometimes it's just waking up in the morning, seeing your post, responding likewise. Sometimes it might be long. Sometimes it might be short. I'm trying to actually work on my short poetry, but sometimes, often, especially with your prompts usually get a little bit longer because I've been challenged to actually go into fuller detail and
Yeah,
give the whole story.
completely. That's awesome because there was some writing prompts that some friends of mine hit me up, say, "Man, we just wrote this writing prompt," and I hadn't written to it yet, and I went and read what they wrote. So I'm like, "Hold up, let me change clothes so I can write some new shit because I can't write no old shit in this old clothes." Because the one, "Who Are You?" and there's one, Daydream About Freedom, Woke Up in a Casket, and there's a couple of them in there so powerful. I'm like, just to prompt makes you have to sit back and say, okay, so how can I delve into this, and it makes complete sense. But what prompt challenged you the most that you've written on impromptu since you've been on the page?
Oh, there's so many. I probably responded to well over 20. If I didn't respond via impromptu, I actually wrote and I
Okay.
didn't post it.
Okay,
So
so which one do you have available that you can read that was one of the ones that you say, I didn't know this was going to turn out the way it turned out when I read the writing?
um, stab my heart,
Okay.
and this is a short one.
Hmm.
I wonder if you did it intentionally. Did you do it on purpose? Was it something that I did? What words or actions had you take a stab at me, leaving me to bleed out on these pages, surrendering elements of my heart to lines that cry when spoken? My heart is still broken, shattered by impact and shock of knowing that someone that I love decided to stab me in the heart. And that's
Okay,
that
what was
page.
the surrendering elements line?
Surrendering elements of my heart to lines that cry when spoken.
So I guess it was the line before that. What is line before that?
Leaving me to bleed out on these pages.
Yeah, that's the one I was searching for. I heard the connection to both, but both of them has to be back to back to have that full connection. But that was it. Like surrendering the elements is just they're leaking out on pages, and I have no control over what you're about to read. Why'd you do this? Why me? I like it. I like it for sure. So stab my heart. But man, I'm saying that is interesting, and I'm saying just knowing more about you is knowing all the things that you've been through this COVID, and knowing that there was not a lot of people that could be with you through this process.
I have my support though. Shout out to my wife, of course. That's my number one fan. Well, actually, number two. There goes my mother. But basically through it all, I did have my support, but I had to it took me time to realize that.
Yeah.
Another note of transparency, I thought I was alone because I was in the hospital. I was only allowed one person at a time. The surgery before that, none at all. So I spent 13 days in the hospital by myself. So, you could imagine being in that predicament and not having any type of love or support and being by yourself with your thoughts. And I'll leave it at
Okay.
that.
Now, Nopal said, the Stab My Heart poem, could you read it backwards?
You want me to try it back? No, we stop. I'm only playing. Um, Decided to stab me in the heart of knowing that something that I loved shattered by the impact and shock. My heart still broken, that cry when spoken, surrendering elements of my hearts to lines, leaving me to bleed out on these pages. What words or actions had you take a stab at me? Was it something that I did? Did you do it on purpose? I wonder if you did it intentionally.
It works. It works both ways with the same impact. Now that's excellent. So, what is one of the longer ones? You had no idea we was gonna do this.
Oh no, I didn't. One of my longest poems is my father. It's a very heartfelt poem. To my father. I can go ahead and do it. It is not a problem. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. But yeah.
You know who this show is about right here?
Yeah. And you have to excuse me, but I'm very apologetic, and the limelight kind of.
This show is about you. So if it's gonna take a minute, it's your minutes.
Got you. Okay. So to my father, I am drowning in a river that weeps, lamenting silently while eternity sleeps. For it's with every day I lose a little bit of my passion, but for every day I lose a little bit of my sanity, but it's every moment that I lose a little bit of my morality. I am dead. I am dead, a lifeless, soulless creature that dwells in the shadows of darkness. For to be even in the light of some darkness would be to savor some sweetness of some happiness. You see, my father who was named after the prophet, with wisdom sprinkled with the sands of time, could not be here tonight or any night to listen to me rhyme. So it's with sad in hand that I speak this piece, as I try to gain some peace as I speak about my beloved deceased. 6 feet lay between us as I try to whisper to him, with words that flutter like frightened butterflies as I try to harness them. Damn, I wish I had him back again. To hear the words only a father could say, to hear his words like wisdom enter my ear, to regain what life has so suddenly taken, something so very dear. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of blood, washed in his spirit, bathed in his blood. To be in the front pew waiting for the casket to close, tears running down my face, it's not just down my nose. I don't care who sees. I don't care who sees. This is my father. This is the person who cared when nobody else cared to bother. This is a result from a visit from death, that lifeless angel that stolen and frozen his very last breath. And as I try to speak to him, I see only a cell, for he's in paradise, leaving me in an earthly hell. I try to call to him, but I know I can't bring him back. And the sorrow and grief will surely build up in stacks, so sometimes I take a step back because I can't take this no more. You're not understanding my father was not meant to go. And sometimes I find myself on bended knee crying, begging, pleading, please. Wake my father from his earthly slumber and bring him back to me with silence deep, but no response. No response, just the signs that brought my father to his deathly slumber. And now we're all here together to say farewell, father, brother, husband, friend. It is with love that you cared for a family, and it's with love that you cared to the very end. I love you. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. And that's that piece.
No, man, Opal says she needs to hear this. But But I wanted to hear it because, you know, my father passed away, you know, and I remember everything about it just like it was yesterday. And I remember, and there's so many things in that poem that's relatable to me also. No, man, I appreciate you for reading it, though. Appreciate you reading it.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you letting me share that. Appreciate that.
No, but so now we got to figure out. Okay, so Unbroken introduction. See, the reason I always say, you know, write down the title and introduction, because once you write down the introduction, you're gonna know that you already have a lot of poetry, a lot of pieces done.
Right.
So you're not really worried about the content. And you have to stop thinking that, okay, what sections, what chapters, what perfection looks like, because we're not going to find perfection in writing of a book. But what we're going to find perfection in the individual pieces placed in the book. So if you write an introduction, an acknowledgement page, and a title, and you say, okay, well, how many poems I have? And you start writing, you say, well, I got enough for a book. So it won't take you to the end of the year to do, but we're not going to discuss that now. We're going to go to something else. Okay, I just wanted to bring that up. We're going to go to something else right now. So I just wanted to scathe that subject right quick. But, so, and you say the poem you're working on now, what was the challenge you were given?
The challenge was given by Gemini Fox Poetry. It was to do my rendition of William Shakespeare's sonnet, number 62.
So, do you have William Shakespeare's sonnet number 62 available?
My rendition or the actual poem?
No, the actual poem. Because I'm saying, because we'd have to hear the actual poem to know how the challenge is challenged and how the challenge will be met.
Oh,
because you got to start in the beginning.
Right. Let's see. The sin of self-love. Okay. Sonnet number 62. Sin of self-love possesseth all mine. Sin of self-love possesseth all mine eye, and all my soul, and all my every part. And for this sin there is no remedy. It is so grounded inward in my heart. Methinks no face so gracious as is mine, no shape so true, no truth of such account. And for myself my own worth so divine, as I all others in all worth surmount. But when my glass shows me myself indeed, beaded and chopped with tanned antiquity, my own self-love quite contrary I read. Self, so self-loving, were iniquity. 'Tis thee, myself, that for myself I praise, painting my age with beauty of thy days.
Okay. But and the reason I wanted that done is because a lot of times we just overlook, because we didn't like poetry. A lot of poets didn't like poetry in school because they made you read the old English poets and, you know, Byron and, you know, all these other poets and Shakespeare and Thoreau. And you said, man, I didn't like them. But they taught you the foundation of how to, I guess, how to flow your thoughts. So to go back and read something now, you can say, man, that makes sense. It makes sense to you now. It makes sense that we can hear it. But we didn't want it to make sense to us at the time we read it. So I think that's a good sign. And I can't wait to hear the piece that you're going to create from it. Can't wait to the challenge, but it's definitely, but I heard most of that in your challenge poem already. You know, because in your challenge poem, it's a lot of that self-love, because that's what you had to discover in your silence and agony. And you had to rediscover self and put self above the agony that you had, because you say, this is just pain. Mm-hmm. I'm bigger than pain.
Right. But in this direction, and what William Shakespeare is talking about, it's more of I can't see my faults because my self-love won't let it happen. Yeah.
And reflection, you know, every time you see yourself, man, it's like, you know, it's like, wow, man, check me out.
Right.
Check me out, man. Look at this hair, man. What's up with that?
Man, do you not understand, man? man, I look good, I'm eating good, I'm living good, but a lot of people really don't understand. That's a disguise in itself, but it's a sin. William Shakespeare is saying that's a sin. It's not like pride or ideology. It just takes away from the truth.
Well, because a lot of times some days we don't want to see the day. Some days we just going by the title because we're going to let this one pass, however it go. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to shake it hard. We ain't gonna make it do. We ain't gonna make it do what it do. Ain't no Jamie Foxx in it.
I'm rolling over in the covers right now because I don't even want to see the day. I want to go back to sleep.
Exactly. But all these are conversations we need to have as writers, because there's a lot of people going through COVID, going through the shutdown, going through this isolation period that's in this moment, in that moment that we're talking about. Because sometimes you have to covet you just to make it past these minutes.
Man, listen. Facts. You have to. I mean, you have to go beyond yourself. And, a lot of people, including myself, really couldn't find a way to do it because we were so stuck on the bottom. And if you're stuck on the bottom, you know how it feels, Well, when you're stuck in the mud, it's hard to get up. Gravity won't let you pull up from it. But then you have a waking moment, which I had. You are above this. You are awesome. You are great. Who told you not to be great? You told yourself. You are your worst enemy. You are your worst critic. Stand up. I'm 6'4". And like I said before, I've had multitudes of surgery. I had my toes amputated off my foot, but here I am. Here I am. I'm still standing tall on 5 toes. Say that. Whatever affliction that you're going through, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual, whatever have you, you have the capability within yourself to rise above it.
And that's awesome, because my first question usually I ask people is, how do you mourning?
Like I said in my piece, I start off with a prayer because, believe it or not, life is a struggle, and you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle one way or the other, and you have to believe in yourself. First off, you have to believe that God is going to provide you with the strength to do it, and then second of all, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, how you expect other people to believe in yourself? And that's one thing I had to learn being a poet. I used to do spoken word poetry in Atlanta in the 90s, and I shied away from it because I started getting bad criticism about my work. And I hid under a rock for well over 15 years, and I'm just now coming back because I learned that you have to have confidence in yourself. You have to speak that onto yourself. You have to manifest that onto yourself. And maybe I am a late bloomer. Maybe I am. But I'm still here.
But that is all correct. And like I tell people, I say, well, how do you mourn? I say, you can wake up in the morning and see that you got this breath thing that's going in and out. You got this sound coming out and you can hear it, and you got these fingers that might be able to write some shit today. So you could be excellent in this day. If you wake up and decide you're excellent, it doesn't matter what storms come your way. You're not going to stop the storms, but you can be excellent within the confines of the storm. You can know that I'm going to be excellent when I come out because I've chosen this me to be, like I put on the whole armor of me to weather this challenge. It might be dented, might have, some scars on it, but hey, I'm excellent in this. You can't wither me down to what you thought I was before.
And that goes into my second saying. The devil said that I can't withstand the storm. I stood there and told him, I am the storm.
Now that's one of my favorite songs. My sister and my family, we used to sing gospel. My sister used to sing the song "I Told the Storm," and that song, when it gets to that crescendo in the end, you can just see people moving, and your hair be standing up on your arm. You can say, "Man." But really, I'm saying I understand how doubt is the worst friend to take with you anywhere. I understand how sometimes doubt will show up all dressed in nice clothes with a tie on and shit. Think y'all finna go party, and you and doubt can't hang out. Y'all can hang out for long, and you still be you.
Right.
But no, man, it's excellent, man. I'm saying I am honored to sit down and have this conversation with you, man. It's most awesome, and I appreciate you. Appreciate you for coming and hanging out.
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate your platform. I appreciate Impromptu. I appreciate the little gems of advice you give me, and trust me, the challenge that you set for me, trust me, it will be met by the end of this week.
No, and then the other thing is you got a love poem in there somewhere. Give us a love poem.
Perfection should be your name. Now, excuse me for being too forward, but the magnetic attraction pulled me towards you, and the first syllables to come out my mouth is damn. How can my heart scribble Mona Lisa's by your name? And how can the morning sun wake with me, sleeping and drooling on newly born verses that overly whisper silently about you? Many may wonder why my eyes stay red. Many a nights I rise out the comforts of my own sleep just to capture intangible dreams in scripted concrete. And in completion of yet another masterpiece, your silhouette dances at the last mile of the evening moon. I am under the notion that the very shadow of you is beautiful. And in attempts to put my feelings in a rhyme, the words seem to depreciate in value and rust in the drowning pools of doubt, leaving only the true genuine emotions to remain. And in the rising of the morning sun, I lay awake only to be haunted by the beauty of your melody. Am I to remain in this paradise of blissful misery? To mentally draw your likeness in the emptiness of space just to have you in my company? Even in the imagination of my fantasy do the powers that be ridicule me? And many may say that I'm hard to please, and it may seem corny, but baby, you complete me. The very taste of you has changed my heart's pace. And to say that I love you is not the case. I want you to feel the emotions as I stroke and caress each word with the very essence of my soul. Now I know that this poem may be too bold, but I'd rather be shot with a caliber of truth than to sit in the darkness of loneliness alone. So, my dear, here's my heart's words materialized for the world to see, and please, let the verbal rhythm settle in your heart, making your soul dance through the mysteries of eternity, smiling infinitely, knowing that you will always, always, always have a piece of me. And that's that piece.
Nice. Okay. Go back to the middle. You say paradise of blissful misery.
Now you're gonna have me pull it up.
It's in the middle because I couldn't. I'm trying to gauge how your lines work.
Okay, got you.
It's in the middle. But go about and start 2 lines before that one.
Okay. Let's see where I'm at. Got you. Just pulling it up right quick.
Okay.
There it go. Let's see if it load up. Okay. And you said where you wanted to go back to?
It's almost in the middle.
And in the rising of the morning sun, I lay awake only to be haunted by the beauty of your melody. Am I to remain in this paradise of blissful misery?
Okay, next line.
To mentally draw your likeness in the emptiness of space just to have you in my company?
One more. Is it concrete next? Okay, keep reading.
Even in the imagination of my fantasy do the powers that be ridicule me. The concrete part is way before that.
Okay. No, but I was trying to connect those two, Paradise of Blissful Memory and the concrete, because both of those images are similar. And I just like I just like the way they're anchored. They're anchored in the poem as a source of what the poem is and what the poem is about.
It's about, I would say, love at first, not love at first sight, but the continuation of love.
Yeah.
The explanation of love from me to another person.
Yeah. I'm saying because every word in Paradise of Blissful Misery is a different word. They don't usually go together.
Paradox.
But I'm saying, but in this context, they wrap around each other to paint a different picture when referencing love. And I like it, but that's why I wanted to go back to that one, because I wanted that and the concrete line to be, I could see the anchor of those in the context of what you were saying throughout the whole poem.
Mm-hmm. So basically, basically it's just about trying to make it real, as far as the line, to capture intangible dreams in scripted concrete.
Mm-hmm. And see, I'm saying both of those lines, intangible and concrete is tangible. Both of those don't go together, but you can you built the picture. In this paradise, you built the picture. So once you build pictures like that, you can't unsee those. They're anchored in the poem as far as this is the foundation of this poem, even though there couldn't be a foundation unless I told you it was.
Right.
Now, but check it out. Tell people where to follow you. What do you want people to know about you?
My name is, excuse me. My name is Tyrone Blackwell. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I go by Ty Black. You can follow me by clicking on that down arrow right there. My name is Ty _Black_ATL, and there's more to come. Trust and believe it.
But I know more to come. But you got to tell them. You got to give them something, man. You got to give them something. Or give them a sharp poem then.
Put me on the spot again. But
this is the spot.
This is the spot. Okay, I got you. Dear poet, when your world is doused in silence, when your voice is dampened by the noise, when doubt invades your thoughts, do you stop? Does your soul stop spilling over vocabulary in hopes of replenishing the emptiness inside? Does the echoes whispering to you cease to speak? Does everything that inspires you to put feelings to ink just cease to exist? Do you completely leave this realm of creativity only to remain in the prison of your own making? I offer you this key in hopes that you free yourself from the shackles of self-inflicting design, because your voice deserves to be heard. Your thoughts are expected to be collected. The feelings that exude from your being should be felt in each and every syllable. So, dear poet, when you find yourself bogged down, when your vision is fogged and you can't see in front of you, just know that the motivation to keep moving is inside of you, and we're just waiting to see what's in store.
And we just had a conversation a minute ago about doubt, and then doubt pops up and just invading shit. And doubt invading shit. I tell you, man, doubt is show up with a suit and tie on.
Man,
and you be thinking y'all finna hang on like, oh, who are you? No, but I like that piece, man, because it's like a letter. It should end sincerely yours, because it's a letter like to these poets. It's like sincerely yours. You will be caught up in this.
Right.
You would get caught up in this and don't know you caught up because you weren't looking for the snare. These things happen when unbeknownst to you, when you're not looking, when you think you're on a good foot, like James Brown would say, when you walking through somebody else's yard and there was a do not enter sign, you know.
Some folk will never understand that feeling.
But no, man. But man, I appreciate you, man, for sure, man. I thank you, man, for coming through. This is impromptu. This is the winner of last week's impromptu. Ty_Black_ATL. Dope poet, man. We gonna talk about this book, man. We ain't finna do no 8 months, eight month stretch. You know, 8 months sound like a jail bid.
It does. Mentally,
for some bad
it does.
tickets. A jail bid for some bad tickets or something.
Ooh, yeah.
So we ain't finna do this book like no jail bid. We ain't finna do that. So we gonna work on it. But no, man, this is Ty Black. Follow him. Okay, are you working on your YouTube? When is your YouTube? When will YouTube be ready?
I will continue to work on it. It's again, it's a work in progress, but I should start uploading more of my videos, especially the ones that I post on here on IG. So if you're not following my page, of course, you can find them on the YouTube page.
Okay, because right now, you know, we're trying to build everybody's YouTube because we really have to understand that we will not always be sequestered in COVID, but we can always keep this going. So how do we keep it going? How do we keep sharing with each other? How do we keep following each other? How do we make this discovery a continued, I guess, exploration?
Building on the foundation of content, sir.
Exactly. Make this discovery a continued exploration, man. And I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for reading everything, man. It's awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for putting me on the spot, sir.
That's not a usual sentence, though. That's not a usual sentence.
But again, on all seriousness, I thank you. I thank everybody that has been supporting you in this platform. Those that put their many hands on it, I appreciate it because, you know, it means a lot, especially when you're recognized for something that you do, you know, just from the heart.
Man, but keep writing, man. I'm proud of you, man. I love all the pieces that you read, and that father piece really touched me, and the challenge piece did too. But all the other pieces had merit, and I thank you so much, man. Keep writing. Let's do this book, man. We ain't finna do no bids.
No bids.
We ain't doing no bids. We doing a book,
and that's a prompt. No bids.
Hey, man, but peace and blessings, man, and don't forget, man. Excellence every day in your day is your choice. We can be excellent.
Yes, sir. And you, sir, are awesome. And you all in the comments, y'all are awesome too. Again, I appreciate this platform. Thank you all so very much. And y'all